By now, I'm sure you've seen the video going around about fencing being put up around the Supreme Court, and everybody on both sides of the aisle is losing their minds, trying to figure out, is it good news for Donald Trump? Is it bad news for Donald Trump? Does that mean he's getting immunity or not? They put the fencing up because they're afraid of no matter which way they rule on this case, there's going to be protests. There could be violence, especially when they say no immunity. What they should have done off the bat is said the appeals court got it right. There is no immunity. Never was immunity. That's not a thing. And we're not going to hear this case. They should have ruled on this sooner. They did it to delay the case. What they're probably going to do is they're going to come up with some sort of a test for Judge Tanya Chutkan, where they're going to say you need to look at every action and decide, was it an official act or was it not? And then she's probably going to have to hold a hearing. This hearing would be one where Jack Smith could bring forth all of his evidence. And then with that evidence, she'd have to look at every minute of each day going forward. From whatever day they start saying they were planning January 6th, whether that's election day or whatever, and go forward to his actions, including on January 6th, and just go through minute by minute, basically, and action by action as to what, and decide what out of those, of what's being charged is considered official actions and everything else. So it's feasible that we have a hearing, not before a jury, not an actual trial, but a hearing where all of the evidence is made public, where we get an action by action account of all the decisions he made going into January 6th, with all the evidence laid bare for the public going into the election. But don't lose your minds. Don't get crazy about it. Just because the fencing is up doesn't automatically mean he's getting immunity, because there's no way they give him immunity. If they give him immunity to the extent that Donald Trump wants, where he even argued in front of the Supreme Court, well, his attorneys did, that without or with immunity, as long as he wasn't impeached and removed by the Senate, he could do whatever he wanted, including ordering the military to take out a political rival. Whatever they give Donald Trump, Joe Biden would also have. Joe Biden could then turn around and order the military to remove 5 or 6 Supreme Court justices, install their replacements, and as long as the Senate didn't remove him from office, there's nothing anybody could do. And that's not how our system of government works. So they're not going to do it. They're not going to give him immunity. All they're doing is giving it a delay, just to trying to make sure that this trial does not come before a jury before Election Day. But don't overthink it. Don't get worried about it. It's not a huge deal just because they're putting fencing up. They're doing it out of an abundance of caution, especially after the events of January 6th.